What's going on, everybody? It is your boy Hendog, and I just have one question to ask you. Are the Los Angeles Dodgers ruining baseball? Are they? Are they really ruining baseball? The answer to that question is not that simple. It really isn't, and I'm going to tell you why. First, I'm going to just get this out of the way. I'm going to be sharing two different kind of opinions throughout this video because there's two different, things essentially going on. There's the Dodgers, and then there's the baseball. I'm gonna fill you in if you haven't heard the news. If y'all had life stuff going on, you're out of touch from the recent MLB free agency news and stuff like that. You've had life stuff going on, work, family, personal, whatever is going on. And if you missed it, the Los Angeles Dodgers, within a 3 or 4 day period, signed Roki Sasaki, signed Tanner Scott, and signed Kirby Yates. Two of them are closers. One of them is supposed to be one of the best closers on the market right now, Tanner Scott. They agreed to like a 4-year big money deal, 4-year deal. Kirby Yates, 2 or 3 year deal. But the main person's obviously Roki Sasaki because, the sweepstakes was 8 teams, 10 teams, even 12 teams. Then it dwindled down to 4 to 8. Then it became 3 or 2. Padres took themselves out. Then it became the final 2. Toronto Blue Jays and the Los Angeles Dodgers. And comes surprise, surprise, Roki Sasaki chooses the Los Angeles Dodgers. And, as an Arizona Diamondbacks fan, so as an NL rival to the Los Angeles Dodgers, the Roki Sasaki to the Dodgers scene is the least shocking of shock you could have imagined or you could have created. Roki Sasaki to the Dodgers was going to happen. I mean, when he announced that he was going to be a free agent, everyone knew he was going to go to the Dodgers. It just is going to happen. And, to be honest with you, and going back to saying as a D-backs fan, since we signed Corbin Burnes, I don't think we were going to get Roki Sasaki. So the Roki Sasaki deal in itself personally does not affect me. I mean, yeah, it makes the Dodgers better, and they'll probably win more games against us in the regular season, so it probably will affect me down the line. But in terms of the feelings that I have of the Dodgers getting Roki Sasaki, yeah, it sucks. I would love to see him go to the Blue Jays. I think it would have been, and I'm gonna say good for baseball, but I'm gonna clarify what that means because when I say it, it's not what other people on X are typing with their Twitter fingers saying that it's ruining baseball that Roki went to the Dodgers. But I'll explain what I meant when I say it's good for baseball in a sec. But just to clarify, it's not what those Twitter finger people on X are saying. Completely different than when I'm using it. But as a Diamondbacks fan, the Roki signing in itself does not affect me. Because if we did not sign Corbin Burnes, then it would have affected me. I would have been upset. I would have been frustrated. So it's nice to add it would have been really awesome if the D-backs signed Sasaki if we didn't have a pitcher. But we forked over the dumpster truck of money to Corbin Burnes. And honestly, I'm really happy with rotation. So at the beginning of free agency, the Diamondbacks were considered to try for Roki Sasaki. And if we didn't pursue a pitcher, then yes, that would have been awesome. But since we have Corbin Burnes, since we have Zach Allen, Fott, Nelson, I almost said Montgomery. Fuck that dude. Eduardo Rodriguez, I think we're set. So us missing on Roki Sasaki is all right. And honestly, at first, when I heard Roki Sasaki going to the Dodgers, yeah, it was no shocker, and it was frustrating because it was like, wow, of course he went to the Dodgers. But also, someone pointed it out that I kind of think about that at the time, that it's almost better Roki went to the Dodgers than the Padres, for example, if you're a D-backs fan, because it doesn't make the Padres better as well, so that you're competing with them for a wild card spot like you did last year. The Padres will still be good. I'm just saying that other opponents in the NL West, he didn't go to the Giants either. So the Giants didn't get better, so they're competing with you for a wild card spot. So it's good that he didn't go to the Padres. So at least he goes to the Dodgers. So the gap will widen probably, but at least the Diamondbacks are in a good position for a wild card spot. And honestly, hey, I'm realistic. I honestly think that we'll play the Dodgers a lot this year. Is it harsh to say that we could win maybe 4 or 5 of those games? I think the D-backs will win 4 or 5 of those games. Maybe they'll even win more of those games in this series. Because let's be honest, while the Dodgers are really good, they're a super team, they're whatever. But baseball fans, real baseball fans would tell you this. Real Dodger baseball fans would tell you this. Yes, it's a super team. And I think I saw a quote that maybe a Giants baseball, I think maybe it might have been Matt Chapman even that said this. Baseball is one of those sports that, I mean, he didn't say this for word, but in like summary. But if you look at it, they can build a super team all they want. But baseball is one of those sports that even if you have a super team, it doesn't mean that the championship's guaranteed. So Dodger fans will even know that even if they fucking added every closer known to man, they even signed Max Fried. Even if the Dodgers sign Alex Bregman, I bet you real Dodger fans would be like, oh, we're not going to go undefeated because it's baseball. It's baseball. Baseball, it's like it's a wonderful game in its own right because we have not had a repeat champion in 19, 20 years, which is in itself why the sport is entertaining, because you don't want repeat champions. And this is where the part of the Dodgers where I talk about ruining baseball would come into play. The logical aspect of saying why you would think the Dodgers ruin baseball. Not saying, oh, them spending money, them willing to fork up money while no one else is doing shit. They're not doing anything. The Dodgers are not doing anything wrong spending money right now because no other team isn't. So that's not what they're doing wrong. But when you look at like the Patriots dynasty in football and stuff like that, or the Jordan dynasty and stuff like that, even though why Jordan was a great player and he was the GOAT and people loved watching him, and why Tom Brady was the GOAT, people loved watching him, take a team down the field in less than 2 minutes for a game-winning touchdown. Like, it's entertaining, it's fun. But people get tired of repeating champions. Like, the Patriots win 5 or 6. Like, right now, we're seeing it with Kansas City. Yes, it's magnified because of the refereeing situation going on. Travis and Taylor, and just the access to media, videos, and photos nowadays is magnified. But you're already seeing the exhaustion from people seeing the Chiefs win multiple years. But the Dodgers are doing nothing wrong right now and spending money. And that's great. That's awesome. But baseball, in the end, will dictate who's the winner. So the Dodgers can go in with this big mega super team, but they'll still lose games. So from a perspective as a Diamondbacks fan, like, we're literally a closer away and a DH away, which is like we're this close, which sucks because even then, even the Dodgers getting Tanner Scott, yeah, that's frustrating as fuck because he's good against Shohei, and of course he plays on the same team as Shohei now, so that sucks. And supposedly he took less money to join a team. He got offered more money from other teams, but he ended up taking less money to go to the Dodgers. So is he kind of piggybacking? Yes, he is. Is he kind of ball licking a little bit? Yeah, he is. But at the same time, he's in his 30s? This is probably his last big money deal. If they were within a couple million, say like the Red Sox came in at $73 million, the Dodgers came in at $70 million. Yeah, the taxes may suck in LA and stuff like that. But guess what? You're $3 million off, same years, but there's a better chance of winning an arena in Los Angeles, and he's in his 30s? Of course he's going to go there. Like, if it's 15 million off, and someone offered him more years, like, then it would be different. But like, if it's like somewhere like single digit difference, same years, honestly, he's in his 30s. Why the hell would you not go to the fucking Dodgers? Okay, so yeah, it sucks. It's a high profile reliever that you would love to see go somewhere else. Again, not gonna happen. Pipe dream for the Diamondbacks. Sucks to see him go to the Dodgers, but really, honestly, we weren't going to get him. The Kirby Yates signing kind of fucking sucked, though. That was kind of like, after the Dodgers signed Kirby Yates, that was kind of like, okay, what the fuck's going on now? Because, yes, Tanner Scott may have gotten offered a lot of money for his age, and yes, he's peaking at the right time, but you don't know when that peak will drop. So people may have been a little scared to offer all that money. So that Tanner Scott thing, that's okay. But the D-backs could have competed for Kirby Yates. The Red Sox could have competed for Kirby Yates. The Padres, the Giants, the Mariners, nobody could have competed for Kirby Yates. We don't know exactly what other We don't know exactly what other offers Kirby Yates had. Um, going into free agency before picking the Dodgers offer as the destination he wants to go to. But same thing. I mean, if the Dodgers knew other teams were offering and they gave him the same ballpark, he's going to choose them. And it sucks because he's one of the better relievers now available that are now gone. And as a team that literally just needs a closer and a right-handed DH away from, I think, make it at least interesting. I think maybe we would lose like in 6 games to the Dodgers if we played a series in the postseason. I think we'd show up for a game or two, for 1 or 2 dubs, because we do kind of show up for these kind of. I just want to say, like the last 2 years, the Diamondbacks have really showed up in these Dodgers. Like they've played and they showed in these, like it's good. It's awesome for the rivalry. It's awesome for the sport. Seeing 2 good NL rivals battle it out. Yeah, the Dodgers are going to come out 80-85% of the time they're going to come out on top. But I remember literally going to the Dodgers D-backs game where Merrill Kelly pitched and the Dodgers rattled back-to-back home runs, 3 in a row off of him. And then literally, did that phase the D-backs on offense? No. Corbin Carroll comes out and hits an inside the park home run. Cattell gets on base for a double. Like literally within next thing you know, it's like 3-2. Like we get like the last couple of years, the D-backs have made these games interesting against the Dodgers, and they play these games well. So do I think it could be an interesting series? Yes, I think we could get 2 games on them. But like I said, I think it would be 4-2. I think in the end the Dodgers would go away with it by a 2-game difference and just win. That's okay. I'm okay winning that because they're the better team. But this is where it comes down to being baseball, where I think people get lost in it. Like the D-backs the Dodgers just 2 years ago were the best team in baseball. They had the number 1 seed, the best record in the MLB, and then just some 85-win team, the Snakes, come up and they sweep them. That's baseball. Like, who says that can't happen again? And then that's where it's like, I'm arguing with people on Twitter, like, because my opinion on this is different than a lot of people, because I don't know what people's the fans are. But like for me, as already witnessing us be one of those miracles against the Dodgers, because it's baseball. Nothing's given. You know what I'm saying? Nothing's given. Nothing's granted. So you still have to play the 160 plus games and whatever you got in the playoffs. So it's huge. You have to play those games. So seeing the D-backs be one of those miracles already, I believe they could be again, but they just need a closer and a DH. But some people are like, that's not the point. They're ruining baseball. And this is where it gets into. People wonder if they're ruining baseball. And the answer is it doesn't matter if they're ruining baseball. It was going to come down to this point anyways. That's the answer. And it's funny because you see Mets fans bitching about spending money when Steve Cohen just forked up the load for Juan Soto and then became quiet. What are you talking about having all this money? So I think the Mets fans should be complaining more about their ownership not continuing to spend money than watching the Dodgers do that. And the same with the Yankees. We know what money they offered Juan Soto. They put it on Bellinger in the cap to fit him in, and that not cap. This isn't fucking football. Sorry. They got in Bellinger. They offered Max Fried all that money. And then they signed Paul Goldschmidt and stuff like that. So they still have money available. So why didn't the Yankees get Tanner Scott? Why didn't the Mets get Tanner Scott? Why didn't the Yankees or Mets get Kirby Yates? Or like these other, teams that have money? Because that's funny because they're the ones complaining. Yet if they did what the Dodgers would be doing, other fans would still be complaining. And guess what? We'd still end up in the same situation anyways. People are talking about how they're thanking the Dodgers for starting the lockout in 26. I'm assuming the lockout is going to happen regardless, because if the Yankees spent all this money, if the Mets spent all this money and we were complaining and we want to talk about a lockout, I'm assuming we all know that a lockout could be looming regardless with the new CBA, right? Because teams are not spending money that they should have because they have the money to. And it's also funny because I think on Twitter there's people having 2 separate arguments where they're talking about, one is people are arguing saying teams should spend money. They should be made to spend the money because they have money to spend with TVs, ticket sales, merchandise, all this, whatever you want to say. They have all this. saved up, and they're keeping it. So they should spend it. They should be made to spend it. It's not the Dodgers' fault that they're willing to spend the money they got, and teams are not. And that's true. That's 100% true. But then also, teams don't have the ability, don't have the amount of money to spend like the Dodgers do. And that's also true. So two things can be true. Like, look at the Diamondbacks. And it's funny because the Diamondbacks are in such an odd position. They're in such an odd position because here's the Diamondbacks perspective. Arizona is becoming multiple cities in the state of Arizona around the Phoenix area, so around where Chase Field is at. Multiple cities, the state itself has become one of the more popular destinations in the United States to move to. Pricing, weather, and all this. And the discussion about Arizona, it's always a transplant city, blah, 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 stuff like that. Yes, whatever, that's been true. But also you got to realize, not everyone moving here is a fucking sports fan. Is not a sports fanatic. Some people are moving here because it's best for their job. It's best for their money. It's best for their family. Like, they're not going, oh, I'm moving here because it's good weather and I can catch the Green Bay Packers at once every 2 years. Or I'm going to move here and I can catch the Red Sox play every other year now. Like, that could happen. But not every person is doing that. And these cities in Arizona are growing. And as people move down here and they establish themselves and they maybe have families and those kids grow up and they get involved in sports. The Los Angeles Dodgers aren't sponsoring youth sports down here. The Washington Wizards aren't sponsoring basketball camps down here. Like, when they establish themselves, they have families, or if they're not people involved in sports before, they have friends and they go out and they get exposed to the sporting events here. Arizona sports will grow. And it's hard for the longest time. Like, this is the same thing with the Cardinals. This is the biggest thing with the Cardinals. Because at least the Arizona Diamondbacks have had staggered success throughout their history, right? They won in 2001. They've been to the World Series before. They've been to multiple NL championships before. They've been to the wild card numerous times. Like, throughout the years, there's been a lot of lows, but there's also been moments of when they've made runs in the playoffs. So the fans here have been showing up for Diamondbacks games. So it's like the Cardinals' biggest problem because they've always sucked here. I mean, they've been here for 37 years. 25 of them are losing seasons. So when you move here and the football team's always shit, that's hard. That's different. But with the Diamondbacks, since they're good, we've seen them spend money now over the last 2 or 3 years because people are showing out. People are now being more interested in the sport. They're going, literally, the run to the World Series. Chase Field was packed. Literally every home playoff game was packed. It was insane. Like, Dodger fans show up it's insane. Like, the regular season, yes, it would be awesome if more Diamondbacks fans showed up, made it more of a home field game against the Dodgers. But in the regular season, let's call it what it is, a lot of blue is in that stadium. It's insane. But when the postseason came around, there was quite a bit of blue in there. But there was a lot of red because they showed out in the playoffs. And then the next year, even though we missed the playoffs by a game, the attendance went up, tickets sales went up, merchandise sales, food, whatever went up. It went up. And then look what's happening. They're spending again. And fans, access to, D-backs TV, which I imagine if they will continue to grow, people will actually offer them a good TV deal. So Arizona as a state is growing. The team is getting better. The team in the communities is the team itself does a really good job in the community building baseball fields for, in neighborhoods for kids and, adult softball leagues to play at and stuff like that. And they're doing other work around the state. Like, them doing that helps them get recognized. And I think them, in terms of the Cardinals, are miles ahead because they're spending money, they're winning. At least they've done it 3 years now. Point out to me where the Cardinals have had 3 years of success, where they went to the playoffs 3 years, where they went to the World Series or the Super Bowl, and then they almost went to the playoffs again, and then they're looking good to probably make the playoffs again this year. The Cardinals went to the Super Bowl, did all right next year, and then it collapsed. And then Bruce Arians came in. We went to I think we almost went to the NFC Championship game if we didn't go to it. Lost. Then next year did all right, and then it went worse. and then he retired before he coached Tom Brady to a Super Bowl, which Bruce Arians deserved because I love Bruce Arians. He's awesome, but the Diamondbacks position is different than what a lot of other people's positions are, because if you look at it from, like, let's say a Pittsburgh Pirates fan perspective, like, I would love to see, Roki Sasaki go to the Toronto Blue Jays. And this is, I'm going to say right now, this is where, when I said early in the video, this is where I said that it'd be better for baseball if Roki went to the Blue Jays. Like, it'd be awesome to see Roki, like, say, go to the Blue Jays or go to, like, a Pittsburgh Pirates, because then their marketability gets better. Then the Asia community, like, then Japan, South Korea, whatever, they get exposed to Pittsburgh Pirates baseball because Roki Sasaki's pitching there. Or like the Blue Jays, or the Tampa Bay Rays. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I think it'd be good for baseball if, like, Roki Sasaki went to those other teams, because the marketability for those teams would be elevated, because then they would get more money, and then then they could spend it. But then it goes hand in hand, because here comes the other thing that people are clamoring for, what people are saying, but the Dodgers are doing nothing wrong, which they aren't, and which I think they should do. Maybe the MLB should institute a floor, like a cap floor, not a ceiling where people have max cap, like a floor where people have to reach to spend, which is an interesting idea, because we're not hearing the Pittsburgh Pirates, like, they have a generational pitcher in Paul Skeens, and they're like, are they waiting for football season to come around again for, like, in Pittsburgh for the Pirates? Like, what's going on? Like, he goes, I haven't heard anything about an extension. Wait, is Paul Skeens going to go to Los Angeles next? Like, what the fuck? Like, how do you tell me that Pittsburgh doesn't have enough money to offer their pitcher, like, a good deal? Like, that's where, like, thing goes hand in hand. Yeah, you could say that Roki Sasaki and all these other players should go to other teams because it'd be good for baseball. It's not ruining baseball. It's good for baseball because it's marketability, which in instance it would be true, because it would be awesome, because it would be good for the sport if the lower teams, like, sorry to my friend Cooper, but, like, not a lower team necessarily, but, like, say the Cincinnati Reds get one of these, these international stars, and then the next one goes to Milwaukee, and then another one goes to Colorado. Like, being able to go to the teams around other than Los Angeles, yeah, it's great for your own marketability, and yeah, it just elevates the Los Angeles Dodgers marketability even more. But the Los Angeles Dodgers marketability doesn't elevate the Pirates. It doesn't elevate the teams below them. And that's where, like, it'd be awesome to see Roki go to one of those teams, like the Blue Jays. Because at least the Blue Jays gets elevated, not to the extent of the Dodgers, because it's L.A. Let's be fucking honest. It's Los Angeles. It's not just because it's Shohei, not because it's Mookie, not because it's Freddie Freeman. It's because it's Los fucking Angeles, okay? It's Los Angeles, California. The West Coast is the best coast, okay? Let's be honest. So it's Los Angeles, so no one's going to beat them. But at least with Roki going to, like, the Blue Jays, it elevates their marketability, and it helps baseball because other teams are being recognized nationally, internationally. You don't need to send fucking the Phillies and Mets to go play in West Ham Stadium, because people probably already know who the Phillies are and the Mets are internationally. You would have to send the Pittsburgh Pirates to go play there because you'd expose them to the international market where they actually helps them. That's what the NFL is good at. Like, one thing, the NFL didn't send the Patriots with Tom Brady out every year to London to show them the game. Be like, wow, the GOAT of the NFL is here, and they're exposing, to help grow the Patriots brand. Shit, the fucking Jaguars are London's team, and when have the Jaguars won a Super Bowl? They haven't done shit. Have they even been to a Super Bowl? Has Jacksonville ever been to a Super Bowl? But yet they're London's team because the marketability, and yeah, because the owner owns Fulham, so that probably helps. But Jacksonville, Miami's playing in Spain. Shit, the Panthers and Giants were playing in Munich, and the fans were chanting, they were jumping, they were dancing. You know what I'm saying? It might have been Panthers Giants. I might be wrong. But it was two of the worst teams in the NFL. They put out a good game. They ended up going to overtime and all that. It was a good game. I think it was Panthers, because Panthers Giants that went into overtime. I think so. I'm sorry, I can't remember. But it was a good game. They got involved, and that grew the sport. It grows the teams. Literally, people in the stands in Germany were wearing Carolina Panthers beanies. Like, that's what I'm saying. It grows. Could you imagine Pittsburgh Pirates go there and you see like an Austrian wearing a Pittsburgh Pirates beanie? It's good for the marketability. It's good for the sport. So that's where, like, I would love to see Roki Sasaki and all these players go to these other teams. But also at the same time, those teams would need to spend that money because they can't just sign a Roki Sasaki and then they generate, fan revenue, they generate interest in their teams, and the fans show up to see something more, and you don't spend that money. That's on your fault as an owner. So that's why in the end of this video, the answer isn't that simple to are the Dodgers ruining baseball? Because one, it could have been the Mets, it could have been the Yankees, it could have been the freaking Braves. Like no matter what team spent the money, there would have been people coming out calling out baseball for what it is right now and saying it's the Yankees are ruining the sport, or the Mets are ruining the sport, or the Dodgers. It doesn't matter. Okay, we would have gotten to this point regardless of the team name that is signing all these players. Because if you're saying the Dodgers are leading us to a lockout, I'm assuming the lockout's looming regardless. Because if the Yankees did it, people would be like, oh, well, thank you, Yankees, for getting us into a lockout. You know what I'm saying? So that doesn't matter. Second of all, cool, it'd be great. Like, I would love to see these players go to these teams to help grow their marketability. But also, there's nothing in place that makes these owners spend. So like maybe they have the Pirates have money, but they're not spending it. But at the same time, they don't have the money the Dodgers have, so they have to be more careful spending that money. They can't just splurge it on one player. The Pirates have to spread out the money they have over multiple players so they can fill out a roster and make it a competitive roster. So it's just everything's fucked, okay? Like, it's not a Dodger problem. It's not a Yankee problem. It's not a Met problem. It's not a Giants problem. It's not a Diamondbacks problem. It's a baseball problem. And it's a baseball in general problem. It's not caused by the Dodgers. So, yes, the Dodgers are making everyone upset because they're getting better and better. Yes, it sucks because no one else is making moves, even though, the Diamondbacks didn't make a couple moves. So I'm complaining that we didn't compete for Kirby Yates because we literally just need a closer and a right-handed DH. So I'm complaining about that part, but I'm not over here bend backwards complaining about the Dodgers signing Sasaki and Scott. So, but at the same time, you just gotta spend the money. So thank you all for tuning in this video. I know it was a long part to get to the point, but honestly, it's one of the heated topics nowadays because, I love the sport of baseball. I love Major League Baseball. I'm going to be going to opening day for the Diamondbacks game. I'm literally going to be going to the Dodgers D-backs series. I'm going to be going to the Braves D-backs series. I'm going to the Mets D-backs series. I'm going to a lot of the series because I love baseball, and I would love to see the sport of baseball grow. But at the same time, it's fascinating to see people complain about the Dodgers doing this when literally the Yankees did this 15, 20 years ago. So, if the Yankees were doing this now instead of the Dodgers, we'd still be bitching and moaning. It just wouldn't be the Yankees fans bitching and moaning, too. It'd be maybe Dodgers fans. Well, no, Dodgers fans wouldn't be bitching and moaning. Let's be honest. They're still probably drunk from their World Series win. So, Dodgers fans are still probably hammered. But Yankees fans are complaining now. But if the Yankees were doing what the Dodgers are doing, they wouldn't be complaining because they'd be happy that they're signing everybody. But Mets fans would be bitching. Blue Jays fans would be bitching. Orioles fans would be bitching. Everyone would be bitching saying, oh, look at the Yankees are doing it again. They're spending all this money. We got, they're putting us into a lockout. There's got to be a cap ceiling for the Yankees, So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter which team is doing it. It was going to get to this regardless. So, and at the end of the day, it's baseball. So, we got to get through the free agency and then let baseball speak for itself. Who knows? Maybe everyone's bitching and moaning for nothing. Who knows? Maybe the Dodgers will lose in the first or second round. I'm not saying the D-backs will, but who knows? Maybe the D-backs beat them again. Maybe the Braves beat them. Who knows? It's baseball. We have to wait and see. I know I'm excited for the Dodgers D-backs rivalry. It's fun every year. It's been fun the last couple years because we're a better team and we've shown up for these games. Not every game because there's been a couple games where they've routed us, but there's also been a couple games where we routed them, like we did with Christian Walker at their place last year. It's a good, fun, entertaining series. Yes, I hate the Dodgers, but it was a rival. It's a rival hate. I hate I didn't like Kobe Bryant because he was a rival against my team, and I'm not a Suns fan, but he was a rival against my team. but also Kobe Bryant was one of the best basketball players, one of my favorite basketball players to watch. Because it's so like I hate the Dodgers as a rival, but love the city of Los Angeles, love California, and at the end of the day, they're unless Roki Sasaki and the Dodgers agree to a deal outside the time period, in the case that's tampering, but in case that's proven, in case it's just a theory, we literally just have to eat it, and I'm eating it, so people just got to eat it. And then let baseball speak for itself. And then who knows, maybe we'll get into a lockout. Who knows, maybe the owners will pass a cap. We don't know. But baseball is a sport where it doesn't matter what team you got. All that matters is what happens on the diamond. Win or lose. That's what matters. It doesn't matter baseball does not matter what team you got. It doesn't matter what team you got. It just, if you play the game right and you play the game right, you play the game with fundamentals, you're going to win. So, thank you all for tuning in this video. Sorry it's been a few days since I released one, but, I'm back. Trying to get on a consistent schedule again, now adapting to work-life balance, but I just love making videos, and I can't wait to get back to live streaming. If you haven't already, please do hit the subscribe button and like the video if you haven't already. Also, in the description of this video, please do head over to the TikTok and follow my TikTok account. I do drop videos and memes over there daily, clips from streams and stuff like that, so you do not want to miss it. Baseball season is just right around the corner. So also the TikTok's a great access spot for all live content. Like I said, I'm going to opening day. Going to go to a couple spring training games. So I'm going to be dropping live TikTok videos, live reactions, pregame, postgame, all that. So you do not want to miss it. Did that for the Cardinals. But if you want to see my reaction to the Cardinal season, previous videos are in my channel. So you do not want to miss this. This is a roller coaster of a season. But thank you all for tuning in. I love you all, and I'll see y'all soon.